Hello and welcome. My mission is to help garage owners become more successful in business. And how do I do that? Well, I go live most weeks on a training topic from one of the 5 pillars of business as I see it. This week, we're in the planning pillar and we're talking about competitive analysis. Now, before anyone gets the wrong idea, let's clear this up straight away. Competitive analysis is not industrial espionage. It's also not stalking. It's not sitting in your office taking cheap shots at the garage down the road. And it's definitely not spending your day feeling sorry for yourself because someone else looks bigger, better, busier, or more polished than you. Competitive analysis, in plain English, paying attention to what other businesses do well, what they do badly, and what you can learn from them. It's not about bitterness, it's about betterment. It's not about copying, it's about careful comparison. It's not about feeling inferior, it's about becoming more informed. And there's an old proverb that fits this perfectly. A wise man learns from their mistakes, but a wiser man learns from the mistakes of others. And I'd like to add something else to that. A wise business owner also learns from the success of others. Because if someone else has already spent the time, money, stress, making the mistakes and the sleepless nights working something out, why would you ignore that lesson? Why would you insist on learning everything the hard way? However, many garage owners are simply ignoring the competition entirely. When they ignore the competition, they say things like this to me: I don't worry about what everyone else is doing. I just focus on what I'm doing. While that sounds confident, it's sometimes just ignorance dressed up as arrogance. Because whether you like it or not, your customer is comparing you with the competition. They're comparing your website, your reviews, your prices, your photos, your booking process, your tone of voice, your follow-up procedures, and your reputation. So even if you're not comparing yourself to the competition, know that your customer is. Competitive analysis is simply asking who is good at what, and what are they doing that works? What are they doing that doesn't work so well? What could you learn? What could you duplicate? And what should you avoid? And probably more importantly, where can you be different? And that's it. Think of it less like spying, but more like studying. You need to become a student of business and start by observing your local market. You're looking for what customers like and what customers don't like. What builds trust? What creates confusion? What wins attention and what keeps attention? And the key word here is objective. You're not looking to praise your heroes blindly, but you're not looking to criticize your rivals unfairly either. What you're doing is you're looking for clues. What works and what doesn't. But you must come at it with the right mindset. Do not study competitors from a place of insecurity. Come from a place of curiosity. Your state of mind shapes your story, which shapes your strategy. We all have biases which become our beliefs, and those beliefs are the basis for our behaviors. If we shift our state of mind, we start telling ourselves new stories, which results in different strategies. So banish your biases, broaden your beliefs, and better your behavior. Now that we're in the right frame of mind to study our businesses objectively, what should we then analyze? Well, I've broken it down into 3 categories. The first one, online presence. Then offer and positioning. And thirdly, the customer journey. Attract, convert, deliver. The first 3 elements of AC/DC, the components of generating cash flow. The final C is collect. The list of what you could study is endless, but this is a great place to start. So when you think about the online presence, you're thinking of looking at their website, their Google profile, any online reviews, their Facebook page, and any social media posts. And then you look at the offer and positioning. What is their core offer and who is it aimed at? That's essentially what you're trying to glean from that information. And finally, the customer journey. How well do they deliver what was promised in the offer? There will be clues online, but the best test is to book with them and experience it for yourself. A brave move for some, but it's essential if you want to get the most out of it. So let's look at the first one, the online presence. And let's start with websites, because let's be fair, it's dead easy to look at somebody's website. And what we want to do, we want to imagine that a customer is looking for a garage and they land on your website or your competitors. But subconsciously, what they are asking themselves is this: is this the right place for someone with a problem like mine? Do these people seem credible? Do I believe I'll get the result I want? So do not compare your website to another website based on how it looks. Compare it from the customer's perspective. Ask, is it clear that they can fix the problem? Is it easier to navigate? Does it build trust? Does it make the next step obvious? The best websites don't just look better, they make it easier to say yes. They reduce effort, they remove doubt, and they build trust. Is your website about you or your customers? Has the competition reduced more friction? Does the competitors look more credible than you? And what does their social proof say about them? So when it comes to comparing offers, we first of all need to, I suppose, define what an offer is. An offer is the services you agree to provide, the method of payment, and the terms of agreement. That's essentially what an offer is. How you make that offer is how business gets done. It also dictates what business gets done and with who. So when you make an offer, you're not just saying how that business gets done, but what business gets done and who it gets done with. So when you compare offers, the price is only one of many components of the offer. It's not a race to the bottom, so you should consider the following. How are they positioning themselves? Is the target customer clear? Do they sell outcomes, not just a list of garage services? Is the language simple and customer friendly? Do they answer objections around cost, time, trust, complexity, or hassle? Is there a clear reason to choose them over others? Do they reduce risk with guarantees, proof, process, or even qualifications? The best offers clearly communicate four things: who, what, when, how much. But they also convey the likelihood of success. So what about the customer journey? Compare your service to a better experience. Let's face it, it's not hard to offer your customers a better experience than some garage out there. We all know the ones, so let's not go down that road. Let's really compare ourselves to someone who maybe you consider is doing it better than you. So how does your customer journey stack up against the best of the rest, either locally or nationally? Customers not only judge the repair, they also judge the experience. So don't compare their equipment, the shiny floor, or how many master techs they have. Ask yourself questions like this. Are they easier to trust than you? Are they easier to deal with than you? Do they deliver better than us? The lesson here is that a better experience means less customer uncertainty. Clear communication and delivering on promises, that's what makes for a great customer journey. So what are they doing that reduces uncertainty and builds trust? In nearly all cases, it comes down to one thing: communication. So a quick word of warning. After carrying out your competitive analysis, you'll be more aware of your competitors than ever before, what they do well and what they do not so well. But never build your brand by taking pot shots at your competitors. Do not become the business owner who is always sarcastic, snide, and sneering. It makes you look small. You don't need to tell people someone else is rubbish just to make yourself look good. Just be good. That's enough. Now, ignore poor standards. And I'm not saying never to warn customers about bad practice, but there is a difference between education and attack. Keep your standards high, because competitive analysis should make you better, not bitter. The key mindset is admire, adapt, and avoid. If you want a simple framework for this, use those three words: admire, adapt, and avoid. Admire what others do well, adapt what is useful to your business, and avoid the mistakes others are making. And that's competitive analysis in one line, I suppose. Admire, adapt, and avoid. And notice what's missing there. Attack, just learning, just leverage, just leadership. With that mindset, you might be open to collaboration, because not every competitor is a threat. Some of them are a fit. If you don't offer MOT, but there are a number of garages locally that do, which one do you use? Which one would you recommend? And it's probably that one that you should partnership with, because competition isn't conflict. Sometimes it results in collaboration. Competitive analysis helps you to see that. Who is good at what? Where are they strong? And where are you strong? Where could you work together? And that matters because customers want the right result. They don't care about your ego. They just want the right outcome. So here's this week's atomic action. Pick 3 businesses, not 10, Just three. One that you admire, one that's doing okay, and one that seems to struggle a bit. You already know something about them for them to be on your radar. You already know them. Now review each one of them against the same checklist. Their online presence, what James Dillon calls a digital drive-by, the offer and the customer journey. And then write down 3 things they do well, 3 things they could improve on, and 3 lessons for your own business. And that's it. In under an hour, you will probably find one thing in each category that you could do more of, or more importantly, stop doing right now. And those small insights can lead to big improvements. And that's the atomic success way. So some final thoughts. Let me leave you this. Competitive analysis is not about obsession. It's about observation. It's not about copying. It's about clarity. It's not about feeling less than. It's about learning more from. Look at what others do well and learn from it. Look at what others do badly and avoid it. Ask where collaboration could be possible and explore it. And above all, don't let comparison crush your confidence. Let it sharpen your thinking, because the goal is not to become them. The goal is to build a better version of your business. Learn from other people's mistakes, but also learn from other people's successes. To do that, you might need to banish your biases, broaden your beliefs, and better your behavior. Remember, if you should, you must. And what's stopping you is probably starting. Thanks for listening. See you next time.